In this universe, there is one great energy, and we have no name for it. People have tried various names for it, like God, like Brahman, like Tao. But in the West, the word God has got so many funny associations attached to it that most of us are bored with it. When people say God the Father Almighty, most people feel funny inside. Isn't it odd that anything exists? It's most peculiar. It requires effort, it requires energy, and it would be so much easier for there to have been nothing at all. The more it changes, the more it's the same thing, as the French say. That you are really a playing of this one energy, and there is nothing else but that it is you, but that for you to be always you would be an insufferable bore. And therefore, it is arranged that you stop being you after a while, and then come back as someone else altogether. And so when you find that out, you become full of energy and delight. And you suddenly see through the whole sham of things. You realize you're that. We won't put a name on it. You're that. And you can't be anything else.
Well, now I'm going to tell you that you really are God. Your own wonderful consciousness, your human imagination, that is the God of Scripture. And there is no other God. Believe me, that when you say I, before you say I am John, I am Bill, I am this, I am that, I am the other, you are declaring yourself to be. Now what are you going to put on it? All things are possible to God. All things. After first affirming that I am, you could then assume that I am, and you name exactly what you want to be. If you believe what I tell you about your own I amness, and remain faithful to what you have assumed, that assumption will harden into fact. When you pray, in the true sense of the word, you do not pray to any external God. That your own wonderful I amness is God. Test it to see if you're holding to that faith. If you're holding to that faith and all things are possible to God, you should be able to prove it in the testing.
When someone comes up and says something like, I am a God, everybody says, who does he think he is? I just told you who I thought I was, a God. I just told you. That's who I think I am.
Right? I got windows open all the time. I got a bunch of windows open while I'm sitting here talking to you. I can do that. I'm a spiritual being. I'm not limited to one window being open.
You're a spiritual being. Most people would not think that about Grant Cardone.
Oh, dude, number one, most important thing in my life is not my wife, not my kids, and not my business. It's me as a spiritual unit. Like, you know, you just create and create and create. So that's what I've always been interested in, you know, like.
Are you connecting with the divine in everything you do? Do you feel that power?
You know, I don't think about connecting with it. I think it is like we are that.
Okay.
I'm not trying to connect to something else.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about right now, except that I'm discovering some genius and by showing up. Right? So I'm a spiritual being, like, you know, moving through the universe. And that's why I like living just in the United States and operating just in the United States and making money just in the United States is selfish.
My spirituality is probably, you know, people don't hear me talk about this much because they think I'm a really material guy, but I'm actually a very, very spiritual person. I always have been, always been searching, always been interested. I'm interested in that. See, my dreams are mine. They're innate to me. They're not my mom's. They're not my dad's. They're not my brother's. They're mine. So I believe by pursuing that, I am pursuing my discovery of my spiritual potential. And so my potential is the thing I am so interested in. It's not money. It's not a bigger jet. It's not another more property. It's like I want to discover what I've been given, right? Whatever's in you, that spirit. So whatever God you believe in is not, that's not what, I'm not all trapped into the description of that. I'm interested in leaving something that lasts longer than I do, which to me is a very spiritual thing to do, by the way. You know, when something lasts longer than your body, that is spirit.
Well, you know, the way I look at it is that in order to be complete, that's when you really have a 100% chance at being successful. When you have a complete situation, that means that you have developed your body, meaning your health, so that the training of the body, extremely important. The training of the mind, extremely important. And then to develop the spiritual side and the soul, extremely important also. So if we put those three things together, we have total completion.
A few months ago, I understood suddenly how thought was just an illusory thing. And then I suddenly felt like I was looking at these thoughts from another perspective. And I wondered, who is it that's aware that I'm thinking? And suddenly I was thrown into this expansive, amazing feeling of freedom from myself, from my problems. I saw that I was bigger than what I do. I was bigger than my body. I was everything and everyone. I was no longer a fragment of the universe. I was the universe.
They're all characters that I played, including Jim Carrey, including any of those things. They're all characters.
You're on a spiritual journey, period. And we're all going to end up in the same place, if there is such a thing. Maybe there's just this and that's it. There's us. We're the universe, man.